Welcome to the channel. My name is Headshot, and thank you for joining us. Today we're going to do a review on the Taurus G3, tell you everything I know about it, pros and cons, how it does at the range, all the features, and everything that I know about it. So hopefully you guys will stick with us and enjoy the video. Before we start, I would like to thank all the patrons to our channel, especially the ones you see on the screen. These are our $5 and up patrons. Thank you for your support. And we have a brand new patron, Mr. Jim H. Thank you for joining the SHOT team. If you would like to see your name up on the screen or get some of the awesome perks that we do behind the scenes and extra exclusive content, all of that good jazz, I got a link down below to our Patreon. And thank you for your support in any capacity. If you just want to become a subscriber here, we would love to have you and join our community either here or on Patreon or on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever you might find us on social media platforms. So thank you for watching, and let's go ahead and get started. Miss Headshot has informed me that this white box is really bright to the camera with all the lights and everything, so we're going to try to get this out of the way really quickly here. So cardboard box, really budget friendly firearm. Okay, you're going to get a detail manual, all kinds of warnings, and they really do the whole CYA thing in Taurus. It's obvious they are into safety, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, although some of it's a little much, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. You're going to get the firearm. It is, of course, safety checked. You're going to get one 15-round mag. Depending on where you live, you may have the 10-round limit, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is in some states. And then you're going to get a 17-round extended mag that has the grip sleeve extension there. You're going to get a lock, some other paperwork, and things like that. So let's get this box out of the way. All right, so let's talk about the specs, and then we'll go over the features here. 5.2 inches in total height with this magazine in there, 1.2 inches in width. You have 24.83 ounces unloaded. All right, so it's going to be well into the 2-pound range once you load up the magazine. And then you have a 4-inch barrel and 7.2 inches in overall length. So what does that mean? It doesn't really mean a whole lot unless I show you what it looks like compared to another comparable firearm, Glock 19 Gen 5. Of course, we're clear. So let me show you what it looks like compared to this, because this is obviously what the Taurus G3, this is the size it's going for to compete with. When you look at them like that, pretty much dead on. Look at them in a width perspective. The Taurus is actually a little bit skinnier. It depends if you count the controls and all of that kind of stuff. I'd call that pretty much a draw. What you will notice, if we do them on their backs like this, of course the Glock 19 is 15 rounds, and so is the Taurus G3. You can see the Taurus is about 1/4 of an inch taller, maybe 1/2 of an inch, but I'd say more like 1/4 of an inch taller than the Glock. And the Glock is pretty much well renowned for being one of the best sized pistols on the market. It gives you an idea of the size of the Taurus G3. Let's talk about some of the features here. Front and rear slide serrations. These come in a wide variety of colors and different editions. Of course, you have 10-round versions as well, but what you have here is the black on black carbon steel stainless steel barrel, and then it has the Tenifer coating on the slide, which is actually a really good coating. And then you have stainless versions, you have the FDEs, you have the grays, and things like that as far as your polymer frames. 1913 style rail right there. You have what Taurus calls their memory pads. So this is basically whenever you're indexing the gun like that, you have a pretty nice area there where you can just keep your finger. Of course, that's ambidextrous on both sides of the gun. Takedown notch right there. And then you have a semi-squared off trigger guard here in the front, rounded off up under here, and they did a pretty nice job at getting that under the trigger guard area so your finger can get up high and choke up on the gun a little bit better. Magazine release is actually really small, surprisingly so. I wish they would have kind of made that a little bit bigger, but it is responsive, and I do like that. With the slide lock back, get that mag out of there and get a fresh one right in. One of the best features on the Taurus G series of firearms is their stippling. They leave some room in here, and then they stipple the areas where it's needed. And man, it is a great stippling all the way around. Interesting enough, though, they did not give us any backstrap options with this firearm. Again, keep in mind they're trying to keep the cost down and give us a budget-friendly type of firearm. So I can appreciate that. But of course, a lot of people are expecting to have different capabilities to change that backstrap to fit different size hands. So that's just something you're going to have to deal with there. And of course, you have that stippling in the front right there. Nice little area here so you can put your thumb and rest it. Manual safety, you don't have an option on this gun. It's going to come like that straight from the factory. When I carried this gun, I left the safety off. I just think it's one more thing to think about in an instance that you don't want. You want the least amount of things to think about in a self-defense situation. That's just one more thing that can hinder you from possibly saving your life. So I don't use it. Slide stop right there. No ambidextrous features really, but you can reverse your magazine release at least, so that's a good thing. And these are Met Guard mags, made in Italy, very high quality magazines, so I definitely appreciate that. Made in Brazil, and they have a Florida distribution center. I think some of the guns may be made in Florida. Not too sure how all of that works, but I know they do have a place here in Florida as well. But this gun's made in Brazil. All right, but on this other side of the pistol, takedown notch right there, and then of course you have your serrations, extractor, all of that good stuff. We'll talk about the trigger after the shooting part of the review. I did want to mention these sights. They're really low to the frame, so where you have, let's just pick a gun here. We'll just pull this shield out. It seems like even though they're not extremely low, they're just, I mean, it's thousandths of an inch, of course, but it just seems like they're really low to the frame. It takes a little bit of an adjustment, but it's not too bad. It's just something I noticed with the Taurus lineup of pistols. This is drift adjustable in the rear. The front is a fixed sight. So the finish is one thing we're going to talk about here in a little bit too. I definitely want to point something out there, but all in all, a very good looking pistol, and I think for the price point that they're coming in at, it's actually got quite a few features. So let's go ahead and do the breakdown, and then we'll take y'all to the range and see how it does out there. So of course you're going to want to drop the mag, make sure it's clear, pull the trigger, pull back on the slide, and let that go home there. You have a dual captive recoil spring right there, just stainless, and then a stainless barrel, and striker block right there. This gun does have restrike capability, which is actually a really cool feature. And then all of your internals, rails, all of that good stuff right there. So let's put this back together. Function check, we're all good there. Let's go to the range. Let's see how it did, and then when we come back, we'll talk about pros and cons and where I think this gun has a place in the market, what I think it's best at, and all that good stuff. We'll see y'all in a minute. First shot's a miss. All right, so this gun actually did a really good job at the range. Very similar to the G2 in the shooting experience. Again, those sights are really low, so it took a little bit of adjustment there. But as far as my grouping and doing quick transitions and things like that, it actually went really well. One segment you didn't see in this video, though, is the 40-yard shots, because I absolutely was sucking at 40 yards. I don't know if it was me or what. I guess I was just not having the best day with this gun. I had another handgun at the time out there, and I seemed to do fine with that one, but just something with me and this gun at 40 yards was not jiving. So it is what it is, but, you know, that's not something you're really, well, that's not something that a lot of people are going to expect to have to use their handgun at those distances anyways. In the, what I would call the distance that really matters, this gun shined, and it did a fantastic job. All right, so there you go. There's that. Let's talk about the trigger here really quick. One cool thing about this firearm is it has restrike capability. So for some reason, if you're using maybe cheaper brass or whatever you're running through the gun, if that round doesn't go off, you can actually fire it again. So here is the safety dingus, of course. Pretty long take up to get to the wall. Get to the wall right there. It breaks. Reset. Right there. Really short travel to get back to the reset, although you do have quite a bit of travel from here to the wall initially, but not too bad at all. And then again, your restrike. Okay, so if that round doesn't go off, you can just simply pull the trigger again to get used to that. Most people, I think, with the wrap, tack, bang, or, you know, wrap, tap, bang type of theory are probably not going to be using that. So it's more of a, you know, you definitely have to get used to that feature and train with it if this is a gun that you're going to be using to carry for self-defense or whatever the case may be. All right, so this is something we started with the Shield EZ just to show you the amount of force it takes to pull the slide back. So this is for any folks with weaker dexterity or people that have trouble with semi-automatic slides. So the Shield EZ is anywhere from 10 to 12 pounds, normally right in that range. So it is a very easy slide to pull back. So this will just give you an idea if this may be a gun that you have trouble with, or maybe you won't. So here we go. Again, this one has a dual captive recoil spring. So let's pull it back a couple of times to give you an idea. Okay, that looked about 14. So about 14 pounds of pressure to actually get this slide to come back so you can chamber around. Let's get the scale out here. Obviously, I want to pull it in single action, and then I want to pull it when it's restrike ready. So 5 pounds, 11 ounces in the single action. 5.5 pounds there. Let's try it with the restrike because I think it's a little bit heavier. Yeah, 6 pounds, 1 ounce. 6 pounds, 1 ounce. Oh, yeah, I was about to say that was right on the money twice. 5 pounds, basically 13 ounces. 6 pounds, 1 ounce. So anywhere from 5.5 to 6 pounds, depending on which way you're actually pulling the trigger. I did carry the pistol for a while, so this is the holster that I got for it with the cryptic Typhoon, which I really love this color. And the gun's on the heavier side. It's not a gun that I would carry every single day, but in my carrying experience with it, it's not too bad. Again, a lot of the grip texturings are so aggressive now, you're either going to keep an undershirt between your skin and the grip, or just kind of get used to it, because it will sit against your skin and sometimes rub uncomfortably. But if I'm going to carry a bigger gun, I'm going to prefer a holster like this because it doesn't cause me to sweat. I got a good gun belt, and the setup is not too bad. Again, it's not a gun that I'm going to carry every single day, though, because it's a lot of weight. And this grip, trying to hide this grip, depending on what type of shirt I'm wearing or whatever the case may be, this grip is not, it's on the bigger end of things. So it's definitely one with the weight and everything attached to it. It takes a lot to carry a gun like this. It takes real dedication. And I feel like with the guns that I have in my arsenal, if you will, I can carry a gun with maybe 2 or 3 less rounds and be way more comfortable than what I would get out of this gun. Not to say this gun is not good, because it does have a lot of great uses. That's something I'm going to talk about right now. So uses of the Taurus G3. It is a great budget-friendly firearm. Let's face it, not everybody has $500, $600, $700 to spend on a polymer frame handgun. They just don't. So Taurus really does a great job in giving you a really budget-friendly firearm. And from what I've seen, the Taurus G2 and G3 have been very reliable for a lot of people. It gives you the option for home defense with a M13 style rail. Not as many accessories and things like that, so you'll have to kind of deal with that. But if you want one with a safety, this is going to be a good option. And left-handed shooters, I think, would probably be okay with the fact that it only has the controls on this side of the gun, considering you can change over your magazine release. So home defense at the range, it's a great option, especially with the 17 rounder. Now keep in mind, this little attachment right here slides around really easily. So if you're going to be carrying this gun as a backup, it's the same issue that the original Shield had, and I think even the new one. This thing slides around. Not as easy. I mean, actually, the Shield one actually stays in place better than this one. But if this thing slides up to there, let's just say, or here or whatever, and you have to do a reload, you want to be mindful of that. Even though it looks like it goes into place, it may not do that each and every time. So just keep that in mind. But it's got a nice little divot there on both sides of the magazine. So if sand or grit or anything like that gets stuck in there, you can just index it, get it right on out of there. So a nice little addition there. So range, home defense definitely is where this gun shines. Of course, you can carry it if you would like to. All right, so let's talk about the pros and cons and end this video out. Pros, budget friendly, set up for a lot of different uses. I feel it's a good size firearm, and they got the weight pretty good too, I think. Set up for home defense, obviously. The magazines pop out really easily. The grip texturing is fantastic on this firearm. The slide serrations actually do a really good job, so I feel like they're very positive. Whenever you go to charge up the gun, they're cut deep into the frame, and I actually really do like them. Up front, you got those front slide serrations, so you can do your press checks or whatever you want to do. Maintenance is really easy, and of course, the price on these firearms is something a lot of people can enjoy and protect themselves with, and that is always a good thing. Reliability on this firearm, I've had 100% reliability with the gun so far, all right, and that's what you want. No matter if it's $100 or $700, reliability is key, and this gun has been reliable up to this point, so that is a good thing. And yeah, it offers a lot of great options. Some of the cons, I think they should offer one without a manual safety. I just think that would be a really good addition to the gun. Also, different sight options from the factory at least would be a great thing as well. Maybe ones that sat up a little bit taller. Night sights would be a great option. And maybe an option for palm swells so you can change those out is something I would like to see with these firearms. The slide is one thing that it concerns me. So it does have a tenor for finish. But one thing I noticed right out of the box, just me rubbing my finger across, I don't know if you can see how it starts to discolor already. That's not good. I've had it holstered a few times, obviously, in and out while we were at the range. I did it a couple times. And man, this slide is, this finish is not going to hold up. I don't know if they just only did one coat. Maybe it should be done twice. I have no idea. I don't make firearms. I review them. I don't know what the process has to be to harden this up a little bit more. But in 2 or 3, 4 years, heck, even now, just a couple of months with the pistol, it does not seem like it's going to hold up very well. So that's just my opinion. I'm not too impressed with this finish at all. And I'm not really a big fan of these sights. They sit too low. Yeah, it's a weird sight picture. The dots are really small. Not a fan of those sights whatsoever. On the other hand, I think for a budget-friendly firearm, this gun definitely has a place because, again, this gets a lot of people into self-defense, into firearm ownership, legal firearm ownership, of course, is what we're talking about. And that's always a good thing when you have a decent budget-friendly firearm that's reliable and is accessible to a lot of people. So there you go. There's my opinion of the Taurus G3. If I had to rate it, I'd give it somewhere probably about a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. Especially considering that price. I think it's a pretty good one. So there you go. There's my opinion of the Taurus G3. If you're a power patron or up, make sure you look for your special outro coming right after this, and leave me a comment down below what you think about the Taurus G3. We'll see you all in the next one. And as always, hold 'em down.